I just spent many, many weeks in Israel. It was really fabulous. And coming back is a huge change and a big adjustment. And I have to tell you, one of the biggest adjustments is just seeing the amount of conspicuous consumption that we do here in North America. What can I say? In Israel, the homes are much smaller. Most people live in apartments. The cars are much smaller. People do and own much less. They do without. I have to tell you, there's so much waste out here. We have these huge homes. We have these big cars. We have many cars. For what? How many rooms can you live in a house? Do our children really need a different bedroom for each child? They have to have their own room? We know someone very, very wealthy, actually an Israeli, who was living in Florida, and he built this gorgeous, huge mansion. But he put very few bedrooms in the mansion. He wanted his children to share rooms. He had a bunch of kids, and he didn't want them all to have their own room. He said, I grew up, and I learned about sharing, and I learned about life, and I learned many lessons by living in the same bedroom as my brother. I want my children to have the same lessons, to have the same sense of character and self-growth, what it means to live together and to share and to work things out and to communicate. Does everybody need their own bedroom? Does everybody need their own car? Do we need so much space? Do we need so many possessions? I have to tell you, even if you can afford it, perhaps it's not the right thing. And perhaps it's not sending the best message to our kids. We know a family in Toronto. They're very blessed with tremendous wealth. And their children, they all could own the biggest houses. But they don't. They're not tiny houses. But they're modest. They're tasteful. They're roomy. They're not tiny. But they could have so much more. Is that what we should have? My husband told me that there's an idea that we should all sort of fly below the radar. That even if we can afford a big splashy house or a big splashy car, perhaps that's not what we should possess. That we should live a little bit below our means, not just for financial reasons, but for modesty and humility. And the idea of attracting attention can also attract envy. And that's not what we want in the world. That's not what we want, and it's definitely not what God wants. Conspicuous consumption, maybe I'll adjust to it very quickly here. Unfortunately, I probably will. But to live with a certain simplicity and humility, perhaps that's what we should be shooting for all along. I'm Lori, Almost Live.